In today's episode, a brief reminder that prompts are not portable. This is, of course, in reference to generative AI systems like ChatGPT, GPT-4All, Bing, and Bard, as well as image systems like Stable Diffusion, DALL-E 2, Midjourney, etc. All of these systems use AI models. And remember that a model in AI parlance is really just a piece of software. It's software that was made by a machine, made for machines. The interfaces, like ChatGPT, are the ways that we as humans talk to these models, but these models themselves are essentially their own self-contained pieces of software. They're all built differently. They're all trained differently. They're all constructed differently. And so what works on one system will not necessarily work on another system. You may get good results, but not great or optimum results. For example, the model behind ChatGPT, the GPT 3.5 and the GPT 4.0 models, these work best when you have a very structured prompt that is role, statement, background, action. And you can download, there's a PDF that explains all this. Go to trustinsights.ai/prompt sheet. Nothing to fill out, no forms, just grab the PDF. That structure works really, really well because it aligns with the way that OpenAI has said that the engine behind it works. That same structure, if you move it to like Llama, doesn't work as well. If you look in the Llama instructions for developers, they tell you it's user and then just statement. So it's not four parts that are easily interpreted. And the user section is typically pretty short in a Llama statement. Other systems like Bing and Bard, they don't tell us. There's no developer API, so there's no way to look at the underlying system and say, this is exactly how this thing works. Think of AI models like operating systems, right? If you have an iPhone and you have an Android, they're very similar, right? They are very, very similar. You can do a lot of the same stuff on each one. They have similar apps. They have kind of a similar interface, but they're not the same. You can't go on an Android phone to the Apple Store and buy and install iOS apps on your Android phone and vice versa. It just does not work. They're incompatible at a fundamental level, even though from our perspective as end users, they seem like nearly the same thing. So what does this mean? What should you do with this information? Fundamentally, as you start to build out your prompt libraries, which is something I very strongly encourage everyone to do, you're going to want to separate your prompt libraries by system. So you're going to have prompts that you know or have tested or have experimented with and work well on Bard. You're going to have prompts that work well on GPT-4All. You're going to have prompts that work well on Midjourney. And when you start with a new system or a new model, or even an upgraded model, you can use pre-existing prompts that you've written in the past, but understand it's probably going to take some time to sort of tune in to how each new model works and how that model works best in terms of prompts. Generally speaking, if you want prompts to do really well, look for developer documentation. Look for the instructions given to coders as to how to talk to those systems behind the scenes. This is how, for example, we know that the structure of OpenAI's system is designed to work. They published very detailed instructions. In GPT-4All and all of the systems around that, there's detailed instructions. The other thing you can do is that there are huge communities available online that people are sharing prompts, which I think they need to be careful because a prompt is nothing more than software, and you might not want to share your intellectual property, your specific software, but that's a talk for another time. There are these different places you can go where people have huge prompt libraries. You can go and grab prompts from other people who have gotten them to work well on other systems. For example, if you are working with Midjourney, there's a Midjourney Discord server. There's a whole Discord community. You can join that community and see a library of things that work really well. You can join one of the many, many Llama communities. Gnomic AI has a huge community, and there's people trading prompts there. You can join OpenAI's Discord server. You'll notice, by the way, kind of a theme. Most of the big AI tech places and companies and startups, they're all on Discord. So if you're not comfortable with Discord, now would be the time to become comfortable with Discord, because that's where a lot of the action is happening. That is where a lot of the cutting edge stuff is happening, and it is where, in many cases, announcements are made first to the most devoted members of the community, so that they can take advantage of things like new betas or new things to opt into, new tools as they're announced, before that news spreads to other parts of the internet. So prompts aren't 100% portable, but they do have a lot of commonalities. They are not necessarily one-to-one from system to system. And if you want to know what works best, join one of the many, many communities out there that people are just trading these things like Pokemon, and find stuff that works best for the use case that you want. That's the show for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.